The Fell Demon Hunter Overview. This is the list that I've been playing currently. There are small variations in other lists. I think the most notable one is that I've seen Metamorphosis get cut and likely replaced with an I-beam. There's versions that run two I-beams. I think I've seen versions that cut Sigil of Alacrity to run two of these babies right here. Oh, baby. Spectral Sight. Um, just to have some additional card draw. The deck is really strong. Two win conditions out of this deck. Win condition number one is Il'gynoth, and you're going to have a big burst damage turn. You're not going to see the huge numbers that you saw from OTK Demon Hunter in the last patch, or before the balance changes, but you can hit 18 pretty consistently. You can hit 24. Kind of the one of the caveats to that win condition is to get the bigger numbers with Il'gynoth, you're going to be a little bit more dependent on discounting the combo pieces. So, Skull hitting Moarg Artificer, Talented Arcanist, Fellscream Blast, things like that. You can also do like some kind of sneaky things with having Eldrazi Warblades equipped, and then buffing your attack with Fury and Chaos Strike. And then hitting face with that weapon with Il'gynoth on the board is going to be a lot of damage. So kind of the way to think about it is whatever number you see on your hero, as far as your attack, Il'gynoth is going to double it. So you can get some big hits there. The other win condition for the deck is Jace Darkweaver. What this looks like is you want to play as many of your fell spells as you can early in the game. So you're using like Furies and Chaos Strikes. Potentially you could go face with those. You could also just clear minions with them. Fell Barrage is also able to go face if the hero is either the only enemy or if it's actually less health than the minions on the board. Fell Barrage can go face. So if you can do a little bit of damage to the opposing hero, Jace Darkweaver, say around turn 8, turn 9, turn 10, and it'll replay the Furies and the Chaos Strikes that you've already played, and you can potentially give yourself a big attack swing turn to maybe finish your opponent, maybe set up lethal for the following turn. Also important to note, Jace will replay Metamorphosis. This can also be a lot of damage over the course of a game. If you get full use out of it, you're talking about 4 Metamorphosis uses, which is going to be a total of 16 damage. Sometimes you have to use it on a minion on the board that's particularly threatening that you need to clear. Sometimes you're just able to go face. If you're looking to make changes to this list, Metamorphosis would be the first card that you would cut. It's hard to spend 5 mana on it to get it down in certain matchups and in certain games. 5 is a lot for that, but being able to get it back for free is really strong. And of course, sometimes it could be discounted by Skull of Gul'dan. It could be discarded by Sigil or Fellgorger. So those are the main win conditions of the deck. There's really a lot to think about. And I would encourage you to, every turn that you're playing this deck, you want to think to yourself, how much damage can I do to the enemy? It should be something that you're already thinking to yourself every turn anyway. But you have different ways of being able to do that damage. It could be like the Furies and weapons and swinging with your hero, or it could be some kind of Il'gynoth play. It could be a Darkweaver play. So definitely very important to try to keep in mind how much damage you can actually do. Also, I guess one special note about Jace Darkweaver, in most games, if you've played a lot of your fell spells, the 7/5 is not going to survive. It's going to depend on board state, what you've played, and things like that, but you're never really playing this for the body. The 7/5 will also die to like Chaos Leech. It could die if you've played 2 Immolation Auras. It's going to get hit by Fellscream Blast. Anything that you played once the opposing player's board is cleared is going to hit your Darkweaver. So when you play this, you're replaying it just for the text on the card, recast all the fell spells that you played in the game. You're not really expecting that 7/5 to ever be able to hit face. But again, it could just be like giving you back attack that you had played previously. That's pretty much the list. And maybe it's just because I've had too much coffee, but part of me feels like Metamorphosis could be replaced with Mankrik. And I say that because Metamorphosis helps the deck, and that sometimes the deck needs just a little bit more damage to be able to finish the opponent. It hurts because 5 mana is sometimes hard to come by to be able to play this just to get a new hero power. So in order to substitute what this does for a cheaper cost card, I'm thinking Mankrik, and I haven't seen any list that's tried this, but you play Mankrik on turn 3, it gives you something to do besides just like equip a weapon that you may not even swing with. Likely you don't even need Chaos Leech at that point in the game. You play Mankrik, you're drawing a ton of cards with this deck, you're going to hit Wife at some point, and it's going to be 3 damage face minimum. And potentially the 3/7 is going to get to hit face a second time. You might even be able to go face with Mankrik. A 3/4 on turn 3, sometimes Mankrik just sticks around. And if it's around for your next turn, then you just go face. Make your opponent trade, because you're going to be clearing your opponent's board with this deck. The deck has so much removal and so much healing. It's really, really challenging for your opponent to be able to stick a board. You're going to clear it anyway, so you would let them make trades into your Mankrik. I don't know if it's good or not. I have had a lot of coffee, but it makes sense to me, and I'm actually going to try it at some point. As far as the mulligan for this deck, I would say that Sigil of Alacrity is always a keep. Chaos Strike is always a keep. Fellgorger is always a keep. Other things that I would consider, School of Gul'dan, or rather Skull of Gul'dan, especially if you're on the coin, if it's far left in your hand in the outcast position, I would keep that. If you're against aggro, thinking Hunter, Shadow Priest, the aggro Druid list, you could consider keeping like Fell Barrage. You could consider keeping Immolation Aura, just something to help you keep up with the board so that you don't get overwhelmed too early. Those are going to be more situational, and it's going to depend on you knowing exactly what it is that you're playing against. So the always keeps are going to be Alacrity, Chaos Strike, and Fellgorger. Really, you're just wanting to draw cards with this deck to try to draw into your Fell cards to be able to play them, and to draw into your combo pieces for Il'gynoth, and to draw into your removal. If you're facing a deck that's really trying to kill you from board presence. That is going to be it for the overview and the Mulligan Guide. I am going to get some gameplay up. I don't know exactly when that's going to be. I'm hoping to get a really long gameplay session and try to get a solid 10 or 20 games played consecutively back to back. That way you can really see the power of the deck, and of course I would be explaining my thought process behind the decisions in the deck. Some of the turns can get a little bit complicated, so you can look forward to that in a future video. For daily Hearthstone content, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, you can check out UncorruptGG on Twitch, Twitter, and TikTok.